You're listening to the Disc Golf Show. This is the Disc Golf Show, June 3rd, 2025, episode 11 of the 2025 season.
You're being gentle on purpose.
This is not the ASMR version of the Disc Golf Show. This is me being very careful because it's the third time we've tried to record this, and the software that's normally perfect, that we were singing high praises, decided to do some weird stuff. So third time's the charm. It's third time's the charm. I was going to keep their name out of it, but yeah. Down with Riverside. Actually, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We just had to refresh a couple of times. My name is Justin. With me today are these two blokes.
I'm Nick. That's me.
Hey, I'm Kenny.
Okay. It's like, pause for a second. What is my name? All right. Today, and along with all of the other shows, hopefully for the foreseeable future, are brought to you in part by Final Nine Sports with their two locations, one in Orangeville, one in Rockland. They're our local pro shop. You should stop in, support them, and if you can't, support your own local pro shop. That's the message. Shop local, support local if you can. But let's say you can't. Let's say that hot new disc that just came out, your local shop doesn't have, and they're not going to get it anytime soon. Well, you got to go online. Where should you go? Well, don't worry. We have a place for you to go. That place is discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow, and you'll even save some money too. 10% off of your purchase. There are some exceptions like stuff that's on sale, but otherwise everything on the site is for sale, or on sale, or you can use the code. I messed that up, but you know what I mean. We're going to move into the news and forget that even happened. News. It was good. They didn't even notice. Disc golf is going to be back in the World Games, which is that's actually pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. I might have said that a little flippantly, but I didn't mean it that way. Gannon Burr and Missy Gannon. I like what they did there. They did the whole the Gannon.
Missy Gannon Burr.
Yeah. Missy Gannon Burr, Gannon Burr, Missy Gannon Burr, Gannon will represent the United States of America. That's right, and they're making America good. No, I'm not going to say that. Thomas Gilbert and Sophia, is it Donecki?
Yeah,
I always mess that up.
Donecki.
Donica with an A.
Okay.
See, I always mess it
Donica's
up.
what I've heard.
Donica. Okay. They will be representing Canada. And World Flying Disc Federation, the WFDF, not to be confused with the WWF, will be announcing the rest of the disc golf field. Follow their socials. They'll let us know. And as they know, we'll let you know, because then they'll let us know. And then vicariously, we can all group hug. But point is, disc golf back in the World Games, which is actually pretty exciting. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that.
It's more growth. I'm always up for that. That's awesome.
Grow the sport.
I know the whole deal is like, oh, hopefully it gets into the Olympics. But honestly, like, this is great. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Let's move on. I don't know. So this is solely coming from me. All right, guys.
Yes, it is.
I've been a fan of for a long time. When we met him,
DiscGolfShow.com.
Disc Golf Show. Yeah, you hate Melly. We met him back.
This does not reflect anything in the Disc Golf Show.
Get him ready.
We met him back at the Flying Circus by Discmania with Simon and Tina, and I'm speaking about Eric. I don't know if you've been following him on social media or not. I know he's had, and he's admitted fully that he's had issues with anger issues on the course while playing tournaments and stuff. But some of his social media posts to me have become a little, and hey, you know what? If it's working for him, great. But to me, they've become a little bit strange from what his previous stuff has been. I hope that whatever it is that he's transitioning in his life, like dealing with stress or anxiety and stuff like that, and trying to mentally be in the right place when he plays in tournaments and stuff like that, and be more controlled on the course. I hope that goes well for him.
I think from my perspective, I don't think it's necessarily that maybe he's going through anything. I mean, maybe, I don't know, I don't know him. But from what I can see from his social media stuff, it's a lot about being positive and being in a good headspace. And he's going through a journey of getting healthy and losing a whole bunch of weight. And
I saw that
really kind of,
kudos to him. He's done great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's kind of where his focus of his social media is kind of going, because really the brand around his social media and most people's social media is them, right? As a disc golfer, it's about him, and he's kind of showing that side and spreading that message of like positivity and giving updates on how he's doing on his journey. And I like it. I don't think it's necessarily weird or anything, but I think it is a shift. You're right, of his content.
That's
and
a
I
better
don't
word
know
for it.
necessarily. I don't know if he's necessarily going through anything, but I think he's just shifting into a more positive kind of space, headspace, yes, and body space too, and it's awesome. Keep it up.
I think it is. I think
Love
it's
it.
I'm not used to seeing this type of content, the vulnerability side of it with a lot of players, and I think that's again weird, strange. That's probably the wrong word for it. Thank you for bringing that up. It's the shift. It's the shift from, I feel like, almost directly from last year to this year. So seeing that shift was kind of like a shock just to me personally. Ultimately, I like Eric. He was super cool when we met him back in the day. Always seems to be, at least in his social media stuff, positive. Like I said, I think the things that I'm referring to as like dealing with was like him addressing his problems on the course and during tournaments that he's admitted to himself. So I think whatever he's doing is working for him. More power to him. I just think that if you just go support him in his this journey that he's going through and reflection and all that stuff.
Sure.
But on that note too is, and I don't think this is related in any way specifically to him, but along with Tina, I think is going through a lot of stuff because she recently sold whale sacks. So there's new ownership there. And they're changing their focus on, I think, for each of them, what's important to them currently in their lives. So more power to them. I hope everything goes well for both of them.
Yeah. I mean, it was a single owned. She, literally built it from the ground up by handcrafting each one of them. And then after a while, she did subsidize some of the whale sacks, actually the making of them. And Erica Stinchcombe actually was one of her employees who made whale sacks. I think her grandmother was also involved in making some of them, but they were still all handmade and things like that. And that's got to be, I think she's hit a decade of owning whale sacks.
Yeah, she's been around a long time.
So
it definitely takes a toll on running.
That's a long time to be a sole proprietor. Yeah, for sure. So. And then moving on from that, Paul Macbeth Foundation is doing another project. They announced something, Project 5.2 with Ukraine. Seems like it's going to be the same thing that he's done before. Set up a course, have small little play with the pro kind of thing, and usually does a pro-am tournament then with the course or something like that. So, definitely support the Paul Macbeth Foundation if you can. And check out the videos that they do for it. It's its own little separate YouTube video, separate from his Paul Macbeth video. But, again, follow him on social media, or that foundation on social medias, and check that out if you can.
Well, they also have, you can support it by going on their website, paulmacbethfoundation.com, and you can become like a supporter where you're supporting these projects that they do. So even for like $5 a month or something like that, any little bit helps. But yeah, go check them out for sure.
It is awesome as always. Love to see it, and I'm glad he started it up because there's been a lot of courses that have gone in a lot of really cool places.
Oh yeah.
PDGA Global Board of Directors. That's a thing, and we're going to start voting on that there soon. Check out their website. We're going to leave a link to it down in the show notes below, so you can check it out as well. And they have a really good link in there too to get to know the 5 different candidates that are up for the board of directors. So check that out. You can also check out how to vote and all that kind of good stuff on that same link too. So check it out.
Pretty cool. Yeah, if you ever have issues with how things are going from the PDGA, this is how you make those changes. So
there you go.
It's by voting.
Mentioned it before. Yep. We've mentioned it before. You got to vote if you want to
Exactly.
gripe about things.
Yeah.
Be a member. Be a member. Support and vote.
That's right.
PDGA also announced their upcoming proposed rule changes for next year. There's several. There's majors, minors, different qualifying changes or adjustments that they're making to the rules or that they're proposing to make. A couple of them that I wanted to notate on here is the time allowed. So time allowed has always been the 30-second. You have a 30 seconds from addressing your lie, right? Once you get to the lie, you get a countdown. And there's always been these issues of putting and whatnot from different players. And those players have tried to adjust their style, and some more successful than others. But now the change is going from 30 to 45. However, there's a caveat. The caveat is that tee shots, drop zone shots, and any shot within 20 meters of the basket stays at 30 seconds, but any other shot, so fairway shots, off the fairway shots, any second drives, those you're going to have allowed 45 seconds. So I don't know how much better this makes it, honestly. 15-second change for any. I think the biggest issue a lot of it has been putting for most people.
I really think it has been, and Drew Gibson just came out with a video the other day about kind of like that whole thing about holding people accountable, and the 30 seconds to take a shot on that final hole is a lot different than taking a minute to take a shot, which obviously we'll talk about the Northwest Disc Golf Championship here in a little bit, but I think that is kind of more of an issue, I guess. Right. I don't know. Check out Drew Gibson's video. I think he kind of summarizes it very well.
Yeah.
And kind of what the deal is, right. And the accountability factor thing that comes into disc golf, and all of these changes are, I don't know, to me, for the most part, especially around this moot point, you can have the rule to be whatever it is. You just got to hold people accountable to it. And we need to do a better job of that and being consistent.
Correct. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, allowing the card to make those calls too. Like
they should be. They shouldn't even have to. The players should be calling themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So another proposed rule change is, and this is, I don't know, it caught me a little bit weird just because maybe it's just the wording for me, guys. Groups shouldn't be less than 3 people. That's been a thing, I think, for a long time, right? Because then 2 friends can't be on a card, or 2 guys can't collaborate and get whatever, right? However, if the TD approves it, a tournament official needs to accompany them. So that's okay. You have 2 people, but you have an official to relegate their play or make sure that everything's going above ground, right?
Everything's on the up and up.
Yeah. Now, in those situations where there's a official, the tournament official may throw the holes along with the players as long as the players consent. Why? Why does the tournament official need to play? What does that do for the process? The way that that's literally how it was worded too. And I was like, what? They need to be there to be the rule, like make sure they abide by the rules. So because there's only 2 people on the card, they don't. I mean, are they now in PGA there is
are they playing in the tournament too?
Well, so here's the thing. So I'm going to relate this to PGA. So at the Masters, there's been a gentleman that if there's one player, right, because they play in pairs, right, in golf. If there's a single, then there is actually a gentleman that has played many, many Masters who's not a pro that has been allowed to play as the pair for that player, right? He's been playing, though. He's allowed to play. He's not going to win. He's just this guy, this character that people know, and they've known that he's the person that actually jumps in if need be. It's not that situation. You're a tournament official holding those players to be playing correctly. There's no need for you to throw. You know what I mean?
Is this in certain tiers? Maybe it was only for
no,
B and C tiers, A tiers. It didn't specify.
This is, I believe, these are specifically for tour and major stuff. So, like, I don't know. It was just weird that it notated that. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was a strange thing for them to
maybe it's just because of that.
Maybe that's why
like
yeah.
Yeah, it's like you only have 2 people for some reason that are left over in this odd pairing of a group. We'll then have the TD jump in and play with them to be that third person, I guess.
Well, I think the only thing that I could say, the only thing I could say is for pace of play, maybe,
yeah,
where it slows that card down a little bit, right? There's 3 throws instead of 2,
right?
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, it was just the way it was worded.
It is weird.
Like, what? Right?
It is weird, but I guess I could see use cases for it. I guess.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's
again, that's why it's a proposal. Maybe it'll get voted down, and they'll tweak it. Enough people will chime in.
Yeah. So, if you want to look at any of the others, there's a bunch of them. Go to the PDGA website. Right now, it's on their main page. You can check the proposed rule changes, and then you can voice your opinion if they come up to that point. So, go check it out.
Yeah, and the first big event in Europe, the Konopisha Open, happened. Konopiste? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. No surprise, I think that Kristen Lott came in first, came through the win. She won pretty handily, as again expected. I was hoping that Silva, could especially being in over in Europe, and she's won a bunch over there, maybe. Could come out of Kristen's shadow a little bit. And she did. I mean, she held her own, but Kristen's just Kristen, and she's, she just kicked butt over there. And then on the men's side, help me out with the pronunciations here. Maury Villeman or something like that?
Yeah, Maury Villeman, probably.
Maury. That's right. Maury. Yeah, he got the win on the MPO side. Full disclosure, I told them pre-show I didn't watch any of the men's coverage with the time zone difference and everything. I didn't watch any of the post-produced or anything like that. So, but on that note, post-produced coverage, if you do want to see any of this event, and I do recommend it because it's a beautiful course, and there's a castle on the property, Franz Ferdinand Park, I think it's called, is on mdgmedia.eu. So check out their YouTube channel. They've been around for a while. I've seen a lot of European coverage through those guys. They do a really good job. If you liked what you saw on the Disc Golf Network, one of the guys that was there on field, filling in the Nick and Brian's role, the guy, he also does commentary then for them on the post-produced coverage, and they get it out quick. They're one of those that turn it around in 24 hours. Anyway, they have that tournament, covered for you, so you can watch the tournament, post-round coverage.
I do wish that Konopiste, more people went to that event this year, because we did have to drop that because not a lot of people. Well, and the issue is because it's one event over there. If they were to go over there, then they come back and they play what we'll be talking about soon. And then they go over there for one more event, come back, and then they go back over there for the majors. So, that's tough. Shout out to Yuli, because Yuli's doing that.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
So, that's a lot of travel, man. That's a lot of travel.
Yeah.
That is. That'll take a lot out of you too. That whole jet lag thing is real. Almost as real as the Northwest Disc Golf Championship, if I could get words out of my mouth correctly. That thing happened, and the coverage was awesome of what I got to see of it. I didn't get to catch a lot of it live, but from what I saw, I don't really have any qualms with what I saw. But I know, Nick, you had a couple of things, so I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna let you old mannerisms about it. Bring us up to speed with what they did wrong. Go ahead.
The one main thing was during the first round. You know how, so they have their feature cards, right, for the first round, because there's no lead card, right? So they have featured cards.
Yeah.
During
Correct.
Not only the first round, but every other round at events, if somebody starts lighting it up, they send a few people over to track that person, right?
Right.
Yuli started lighting it up, and he had
he did.
He had the best. He was leading after round one, and it was funny because they get over there on hole 17, and he putts, and as he's walking by the camera, he goes, "Took you guys long enough," and he smirks, ribbing him, giving him a hard time. I just wondered why.
Yeah, he knew he was on fire.
Why were they not sending people over there earlier, man? Like,
probably a lack of communication.
Maybe,
probably
I guess.
Yeah,
and again, this is like very, very minute. Like, I'm not mad about it anyway, but it was just funny because it was Yuli, and at other events, they jump over quick, and so, but big shout out to Yuli for his first round.
He technically works for the Disc Golf Network. He works for the Disc Golf Network, and they don't get there until 17 to throw a camera.
Which makes it
big shout out to him.
Funny.
He had a great event. And I do want to say the first round was at Milo McIver, or first 2 rounds were at Milo McIver. The second 2 rounds were at Glendevere East. I think it's East. Glendevere West, Glendevere East, I think it was. Anyways, it was at
they called it Gold because they combined the course on both, I think. Perfect. They named it Gold and combined 2 courses. Yeah.
One of the things that I did like was hole 15, and I believe it was hole 15 at Milo McIver, I think. It's a big Annie shot. Big Annie shot. One of my favorite shots.
Yeah.
The big gliding Annie. And shout out to Katrina Allen. She gets her first tournament ace after being on tour for, we all know, a very long time. And she's had aces before, but nothing during tournament and on coverage. So they caught it on, they didn't catch, I don't think they actually caught it hitting the basket. I don't remember seeing it. But from the teepad, it was funny. She releases it. It flies out of her hand, starts taking off to the right. She sees it. She goes, okay, that's a good shot. And in her head, she turns around to walk away. And then you hear all chains just bam right into the basket, and she stops.
Yeah.
Oh.
So very, very cool. And what I would say probably one of the hardest ones to probably hit there with a blind shot like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's not just a hyzer like
blind crossover Annie.
Yeah, Cole Radolin hit it off the top of the basket on one of the holes, and but that's just a straight hyzer. It wasn't like a turning Annie. But big shout out to her. I do want to say that just because of that style shot, that's why I give that my favorite hole for this event. Another thing that I don't have in here, because you guys love me hating on stuff. Part of me wishes that these were still 2 separate events. Part of me wishes that Milo McIver was still its own tournament.
Yes.
This becoming the Northwest Disc Golf Championship, fine, great. Like I said, I'm not going to hate on it. Just a preference for me. I would love there still to be the Portland Open and the Beaver State Fling. Beaver State Fling has been around for so long. It's so, like, I don't know. It's got this aura for it, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's obviously there's logistics behind it in the tour and how they have to plan these things out. Right. But either way, great event. You had Holland holding off Missy. And guy, dude, I feel so bad for AB. Like,
I personally,
team, but
personally, I found that the very last play was probably the best outcome that probably could have happened to take it away from your player and give it to mine. I couldn't have been happier. Couldn't have been happier.
Right.
I mean, it sucks for
you battled it out that way. In fantasy, it made me win since you 2 were fighting it out.
Right?
Oh yeah, yeah. But like, I think
we'll get to that.
I don't know if you've seen his post. He managed it extremely well. I think much better than he has done in past defeats like that. Like, that was solely him. He said he just barely held on to it a little long. I would say it was probably, to me, like a 60-40 spit out. I don't think it should have, but it definitely had enough space to the right where it was likely that it could. But yeah, dude, that's got to be so tough. He had a stroke going into hole 18. He bogeys, Burr birdies, and Burr gets that win, dude.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Love
tough.
to see it if you have Burr on your team. Yep.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, before we move on to the next section, I do want to do a quick shout out to the new course that we have in Roseville. The Denial family, which is the family in which the course, the property, the park was dedicated to. We were, the news came out one day and then they had a dedication. It was really, really cool. So lucky to be a part of co-design for that course, along with our Roger and Bruce. And I just wanted to do a shout out to the city of Roseville because, yes, it took a very long time, but it's in. People are loving it now that it's mowed again.
Now it's mowed again.
But yeah, so hopefully, it's only been in for 3.5 months.
Yep.
So, but it's going strong. So one thing I did want to say is, hey, quick question to you guys. If you see a sign on the course saying that the course is closed for an event, what would your initial response be to that?
Go to a different course.
You would think.
Bummer.
Closed.
You would think.
Bummer.
You would think.
Another course.
Yeah, some people just decide to play anyways. Just we'll read the sign and purposely ignore the sign and play instead of just being patient and waiting.
It's
it wasn't
public,
even closed.
Yeah,
listen,
public course.
It wasn't even closed. It wasn't even closed for the day. It was only closed for a few hours.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, that's just a personal annoyance on that.
Does that shock me?
Unfortunately, it happens because it literally just happened at one of my home courses back in Pennsylvania. The same thing happened. They were running a ladies' event, and this guy, for some reason, wanted to play exactly at the time that the ladies' event was going on. And he was on social media even. It's like, that's even worse. Like, don't go on social media and be like, hey, I'm going to play at those times because you asked us to go somewhere else. It's a public course. It's like, don't be that guy. Don't be that person.
Just makes you not great person.
I mean, and why would you want to play with 100? Why would you want to play a casual round with 150 people, 200 people, whatever it is, already on the course? Like, you're going to have to be slow down at every hole. Yeah, I guess.
Just to be that person.
That happened at a previous event that I volunteered at, and a gentleman came up after the last card was out. However, the issue here is that the TD of this event stated, hey, wait until they pass this hole because then we know that there's no possible cross, a disc can't fly into a oncoming card, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't even need to do that because they rent it for the whole event. So it could be closed all day, but he's nice enough to go, you know what? I'll let people play after a certain time if they want to try to get a quick round in on this layout. Guy apparently didn't agree with that, didn't like it, was mean mugging us because we addressed it. Like, dude, like Ken said, do not be that guy.
No.
Do not be that guy.
I mean, if you want to act that way, then I would just be like, you know what? Sorry, can't play. Get out.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
It's like,
well,
you want to be that way?
He ended up
good. Good. Don't come back ever.
God.
I can't stand people
so
like
frustrating.
that. You know what I can stand?
What's that?
Conversations.
My God, are you still talking?
Yes, because that's what we do. Why do you have a problem with that, Hank? It's probably that guy, isn't he? Let's see. Today, we're going to talk about some stuff real quick, though, up front. If you're watching us on whatever platform or listening, do us a favor and subscribe to the show because we'd appreciate that. It really helps out. Also, if you have an opinion about what we're about to talk about, this is the segment where we'd like your feedback too. I'm going to pin this question to the comments down below on our YouTube video of it and let us know what you think because I always like reading what the responses are.
Oh, yeah.
Teepads. You gonna old mannerism about it again? Is that
really
is that why it's on here?
It's on here because watching the tour, I've noticed something, and you cannot deny what I'm about to say because it happens 95% of the time.
Wow. Okay, that's a high percentage.
The pros seem to tee off or start their run up off the tee from off the tee pad.
Okay.
All the time.
Yep.
Right?
Sure.
All the time.
Yep.
Why can't we just make the tee pad bigger? Why can't we just make the tee pad 5 feet longer?
Because, Nick.
Why?
All right.
Tell me, Justin.
Are you sitting down for this? Are you sitting down for this?
Yes.
All right. Here you go. Here's why you can't make the tee pads bigger. All right. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of reasons.
Yes.
And the last one is going to be the main reason. You ready for this? Okay. One, they'd have to spend more money on every single hole to get materials to make these things bigger. Two, you'd have less of an athletic performance inside the disc golf sport in and of itself, because then you wouldn't have to have that athletic ability to make the transition from off the tee pad to on the tee pad. And three, because we wouldn't have questions like this.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Three nails it. 3 nails.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The athletic half step that they got to do to get over the tee.
I don't know. Is there some kind of regulation that the tee pad needs to be a certain size? I don't think so.
I think that was
like a max
one of the
size?
things that they've been working on, the PDGA.
Okay.
And possibly the tour, because I know, seeing as how the tour is working on baskets, right? Why not work on this? Why not? Sometimes that adjustment and that change, the pros say something about it. They comment about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why not just make it like currently, let's say at the new course, right? We wanted 6x12s. They put in 5x10s. 6x12s with just being a foot wider and 2 feet longer is a significant amount of space overall.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know? And I would say at that open tour level, you may even want to go, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying Conrad run up, right? I'm not talking about like 20 feet long or whatnot. But maybe
there he goes.
15 feet by 7, a 7x15, or 7x14, something like that, where it's not. Yeah. It just takes, you know what, as unlikely as a trip may happen, it would take it out of the equation.
64x1. Yeah.
So you want the Eagles Crossings tee pads to be at every disc golf pro tour event.
Yeah, there you go.
If you've ever seen Eagles Crossings, their tee pads are ginormous. They're flat. They're perfect. I mean, they're just immaculate. They look great, even like on camera. Again, we always talk about filming and on camera and how things look, to the outside world. Those tee pads even pop. Like it's amazing. But I agree with you, Nick. Like, it really should be. And honestly, I'm surprised with as tall as Scott Stokely was and Ken Climo, that this wasn't addressed sooner. Because obviously those two had huge run-ups just because of their sheer height.
Right.
And now, we got AB, Gannon Burr, Conrad, Jeremy Colin, like these giants, like you guys mentioned in our last podcast, meeting them in person. These, some of this field is not small, so I agree. Bigger tee pads. I've even slipped off of them and had trouble transitioning on some of them. And I'm only 5'7". If I'm exactly perfectly standing straight up, I'm not exactly a towering human being, and I don't like the size of them.
Yeah.
As long as it's like within a certain limit, as long as we're not like Boston marathoning it up like on the pad, then like
sure,
just I don't know,
concrete
max 15 feet or something.
It's one thing to have one person, maybe Conrad, who runs up like 20, 25 feet, right?
Right.
But everybody almost starts off the tee. And
Right.
I think one addition, which Ken just reminded me of, thank you, is a distinction at the front of the teepad where your follow through does not have to land off the teepad.
Right.
Whether it's a painted line or maybe it's just a set of pavers in front of where the teepad is. That way they know at the end of the teepad I got to release, but I can actually round and land on the pavers in front of the teepad. Something distinctive that, again, takes away any type of injury possibility. I think that's something that's like, you're always, that's where you start from. Why not make it better, you know? But
sure.
Yeah, guys, what do you think? Do you hate the idea? Let us know. Like Justin said, it'll be pinned down below.
In the comments below.
Gear.
Oh my.
And equipment.
What did he find? He probably found the link to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow, and he's probably saving 10% off. I mean, that's what I would do, because that's what this segment is sponsored by today. Check it out. Save yourself some money. Let's talk about some discs that recently got approved by the PDGA, because that's exciting. Who doesn't want more gear? First off, we're going to start off with a banger. It's not called a banger, but I just wanted to say that. The Dolphin Papa by Dolphin Papa Discs. I encourage you, go check this out on PDGA's website. It is weird looking. However, it is kind of weird looking, I think, because it floats on water. I think that's kind of how they advertise it. Like, hey, if you're a beginner that's worried about your discs going in the drink, these float, so you can always get it back. So that's probably why it's shaped a little weird. I do like the stamp that's on it. It's got little dolphins and stuff. Who doesn't love a good porpoise? Am I right? I know I do. H13 Disc Golf had the Wanderlust retooled, recently approved, and it's the first for this year that they've gotten approved. Along with Elevation Disc Golf's Capybara was also the first approved for this year for Elevation Disc Golf. Nothing really else exciting about them, but at least from the stuff that you can get, the information you can get for it right now, but those have recently been approved. And then Yikun Discs, I don't know how to say that right, had the Yang Jian and the Ziya. I know I'm butchering that. Also, first approved discs, 2 discs in this month, first for the year. These companies are waiting like 6 months in to get discs approved. It's kind of crazy. I will say, though, both the stamps on these Yikun discs, really cool. Go check them out. I love the art style on this. Just on the stamp that was sent in for the disc to be approved for the PDGA is super cool. So can't wait to see those. And I need more Yikun discs, I think, because they just kind of look nice. Maybe a couple for your wall there, Ken. You can get a couple there. Approved on, you should. Approved on June 2nd. Disc 4 Fun had the Whisper approved. That is the first for this year, and it seems like they're going on this yearly kind of cadence, because last year, right around this time in June, they had their first disc ever approved, and it was a putter. Now this one's a mid-range, the Whisper. Next year, driver? I don't know. We'll see. Infinite Discs had the Artifact recently approved. Momentum Discs AB had the Steam approved, the first of this year for them as well. And the Disc Store, Grow the Sport Pro and the Grow the Sport Elite Disc Golf Basket V2 were both approved. And it's kind of interesting. So I think it was last year, I could have the dates wrong, but last year they had the Disc Store Grow the Sport Elite Disc Golf Basket V1 approved and released, which was, I believe, a basic level basket. And now this one's a championship level or target basket. Looking at kind of the specs between both of those was interesting. There was kind of a slight increase in the basket's height and the inside diameter, a noticeable reduction in the outside diameter of the basket, and an increase width in the deflection kind of assembly, the catching area for kind of the basket area. And really that was about the only thing that was noticeable. A little bit of an increase overall in the height and the target zone kind of just all together, but not really much else to say. All the chains for inner and outer, exactly the same assembly. These little tiny changes to it takes it from that basic level to that championship level, which is kind of interesting. I do like the refinement. And I guess one could say with the different kind of increases of the target zone and, all the things that kind of go into discs coming in, deflection, that maybe you could potentially have less bounce outs as a result. But it's kind of interesting looking into all the different tweaks and stuff, especially because now we have a direct view of one iteration of the same style of basket with everything else kind of the same, except they're tweaking around with some of the parameters of target area, right? And really that's the only kind of significance to it. So I like it. I like where they're kind of going with it. And we'll see what the price point is, though, on this championship target. That'll kind of keep me interested because I can guarantee you it's probably going to be a little bit more. Just saying. Could be wrong, but it's probably going to be. Other products you should probably check out in terms of gear and stuff. Vessi Shoes. Check out our affiliate link down below. Save yourself a little bit of money. Gives a kickback to the show. Come on. You knew we were going to do it. Almost as much as you knew we were going to do this.
KEN versus
Disc Golf.
Extra points if you can tell me where all of those little sound bits are coming. I'll send you something in the mail directly from me if you can figure it out.
Yeah, good luck with that. Hey, it's fantasy time. As we kind of alluded to earlier in the week, for us, again, our group chat, at least for the three of us, was on fire because the men's tournament really changed a lot of things in our league.
Went the best way it probably could.
It was yes. I mean, unless Justin still didn't win, but
no. But I dethroned that champion.
But yeah, but Nick and I were literally going back and forth by updates. Like as they were updating the site, you could update it, and Nick was winning by 2. I was winning by 12, and then Nick would jump me and win by 5, and it was bonkers.
Yeah.
I was
and then I text messaged AB at the end and told him just shank this last one. Just shank this last one. I'll send you $50.
Well, right? Yeah.
I mean,
$50.
Nick, I congratulated you. Thinking that you were going to win because of what was the outcome that was just laying out there in front of it. I literally said, AB has this under control, or he's something to that nature. I forget exactly how I put it, but I literally put he's been on fire and he's been in control all weekend. I absolutely put the kibosh on him, put the X on him, whatever you want to call it. It was totally my fault.
Over there stabbing the voodoo doll.
You could absolutely call that spit out on me.
No, did you hear me accept that victory at all? At all. Because I did not.
No.
You said that, and I was just like sitting here by myself.
It's because you were old and you were like you just couldn't get the message
numbers,
out by the time.
I couldn't read the
Hey, teepads.
I'm sitting there going, it's too close. It's too close. And on that hole, on hole 18 there, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be like, yeah, I got it in the bag. The likelihood was leaning my way, but it was definitely not a for sure thing. And that it was crazy too, because when you did that, like it was just after he had missed his putt and the scores still hadn't adjusted. And I'm sitting there going, oh, that's going to ding me, because I think we were only like 7 points off at that point. And I was like, that's not good, because I know that's more than that. And so literally after that, I think it was like 2 minutes later, I looked and I'm like, yeah, this is why I did not accept the victory. Yes. So, good win.
And I did it. I honestly did it because I honestly thought he was going to. I wasn't throwing it out there to then be able to rub it in your face later on.
Oh, no, of course not.
At all. There was no malicious intent in any of that. Although I smiled and giggled immensely once I hit what did I get, like 2,000 points. I think I might, again, I'm going to pat myself on the back here. I think I might be the first one to hit 2,000 points. It was a lot of points. I don't know if we've pressed the 2,000 points. Again, thank you, Holland Hanley. Thank you, Paige Pierce. They actually carried my FPO. Justin, I think you even said it in the chat. Did Holland got over 500 points or something like that?
Over 500, yeah.
Like, what the heck? Yeah, it was over 500 points. It was insane. So, and speaking of that, then our current leader still in wins and losses of how they weighted. Again, I totally disagree with this, but we got to give him his kudos. Is Roger has now is still first, I should say. I've never taken over first in wins and losses.
Complete.
What do you got? 37 to 11 or something like that? Yeah, 37 to 11. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Roger he's again. I talk about it every week in fantasy because it's something that is relevant every week. His players are consistent. Because you two had AB and Gannon. I had Kyle Klein. So we had the three that, were up there winning, but Kyle's not consistent. I'll get him fighting for a lead, but then the next tournament he plays, he's 45th, or something like that. Especially Adam Hammis on my team. Very inconsistent. Presnov, very inconsistent. It's my FPO field that's consistent. Holland Hanley, again, winning this tournament, still not finishing out of 5th, and her overall wins are, her record is just unbelievable these last 2 years, even if she's not playing well, 5th place, on, an average is 2nd, you can't beat that, and the points are rated the same FPO, MPO, except for Johnny put in a caveat of how many players you beat. So obviously Holland, Paige, our FPO field's not getting that bonus points like the male players, or the MPO field is. So that, that's something there too. So as we said, I'm the points leader, because of that, I did get some great points again this week for a few players. Some of mine didn't even make the cut, but I had enough from the others. I don't care if we go over the world rankings. It's, because the field is so scattered right now. We haven't seen Henna and Evelina play in like a month now because they didn't even play at Kona Peach Day. So, I would take the world rankings and Statmando's rankings with a grain of salt right now. And again, there's still everything's split up. This kind of leads us into our last segment, the upcoming events. We discussed in our fantasy group that we're going to drop, the next event that Ale, whatever, open by Discraft. Yeah, over in Sweden. So again, talk to your TD or whatever you want to call them, in your fantasy leagues, and see if you guys have enough players to play in these next couple events, because it's split all over the board. I think even the Preserve coming up, it's again going to have a weekend field. Definitely still not any Europeans, I don't think, are coming over for it. I didn't look at the registration list so far, but yeah, it's rough out there right now in fantasy. You might have to dig deep if you are playing every event. And kudos to you if your league's playing every event that's out there that's posted, that Johnny and other of these, Hold My Bag, other fantasy, leagues are out there doing. And that's the other thing. We always talk Skip Ace. We think Skip Ace is awesome. But there is Hold My Bag, and they do have, prizes and things like that. They do tiered, you can do a paid league with them if your state allows it, because it is legal gambling. Right. So check with your state laws to see if you can do it. But Hold My Bag also has free entry weekly leagues, as they call it. So what they probably do is they'll give you a certain amount of points, and then you use those points up with the PDGA ratings that the players have. And then you construct your team that way weekly to play. That's another thing that it's available on Skip Base also. He does a free league, and I try to play it every week, and I'm ranked like 150th or whatever out of there. But there's a couple guys that are just mainstays. They do it every week. They're very consistent, great with their picks every week, because it's difficult. You get into some of those players that you've never heard of, you've never seen on coverage, but even if they finish 50th place, like, they're helping your fantasy team. One thing I'll mention, and again, I'll wrap it up quickly, is we still haven't had any trades. I sent out a trade offer, never heard back. I do see some free agents getting picked up here and there as injuries happen, or again, as people. But Justin, you talked about did you offer up Rebecca to anybody, or what you do? You still
I held on to her.
Like keeping her on your roster.
I held on to her for one more. She's getting traded.
Okay.
She's getting traded because she's like you said, not consistent. On fire, not on fire, not like when she's on fire. Buku points. Mm-hmm. She's not. There's me losing to Nick of all people. You know what I mean? So I gotta set up that trade. Hey Nick, you want to trade?
No, I don't. I'm the only things that I ever really do are do the free agent things. Sometimes I'll drop somebody to pick somebody up. But for the most part, I like to stick with who I pick with, and kind of just grit my teeth at the bad events, and cross my fingers for
ride it out.
Yeah. Let me change my story, actually, Nick. Yeah. Let me make this Rebecca Cox, one of, as everybody knows, one of the premier players. You might want to give up Simon. Think about it.
Think
about it. I'll send you the offer.
I don't think he's transferred over to FPO. So, you need to talk to him about that.
We'll work it out.
Yeah, we'll work it out. Yeah.
We'll work it
out. Okay. So if you were to pick, thinking not your team, get your team out of your head, who do you think has the advantage going into the preserve in 2 weeks or a week and a half?
Simon, since he redesigned the thing.
Yeah, it's Simon Line is putting it on. Yeah. It's hard to put anybody else there. Burr, but Simon. But Simon.
Your usual suspects in MPO for sure. But I would definitely. It would not surprise me at all if Simon was up in the lead card.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll see a Macbeth taking one. Is Macbeth registered
again? He had a good run again this event.
Yeah.
He had a good run, but he just did not close it out.
It's like any game now. I feel it coming. You know what I mean?
He's one good round away.
Mm-hmm.
He's one good round away at these events from winning. Like it's just the close.
And on the FPO side, I'd say that about Paige. Again, she did fantastic this weekend, and I think her ankle is healing up. I think she's getting used to whatever is going to be there the rest of her life, but we definitely saw Paige really hit the disc hard, be very confident in all her shots. Katrina Allen, again, not just the ace, but she was playing very well, so I would love to see it. I'd love to see a Ricky, a Nate Sexton, Nate Doss when he comes back, Paige Pierce, Juliana Corver, if she would ever play on the tour again, Des when she's, not in the booth, which, I could do my whole, get up on the soapbox thing, but I won't with Des. Let's just get her back on the course. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. One last event before we move on is for our friends up north. As always, the last two were the Ale Open this weekend, Preserve Championship next weekend, and then our friends up north, September 12th through 14th. Shout out to our guys up in Port Hope, Ontario, Canadian Championship, which is a DGPTQ series. So again, we're trying to help promote them, get more players going up there. So they're trying to grow it up there more. So
get it in the boot for sure.
You've got mail.
Incoming mail.
Mail call.
Do have mail. Well, kind of. Product review of Disc Golf Master video game on Steam. Was that you, Nick?
So
you
I
played a video
because,
game?
Yeah. So I went and the release for the beta came out, and I had put my name on the email thing to check it out. And I finally had a little bit of time. I loaded up Steam on my computer. I loaded up the game, and I'm sitting here going, I don't play games on computer and mouse and keyboard. So I got my PlayStation 5 controller, and I Bluetooth that to my computer, and I tried. Now, granted, Justin will understand here, my computer is not strong. So there was a little lagginess to it, right? But even with the lag and little lag that was there, it's noticeable. Justin would be like, I'm not playing this. But on my computer anyway. On my computer, you would do that. Great game, dude. Like,
really?
Just out as it is now, you played Disc Golf Valley, right?
Yes. Yeah.
This is just a much more realistic version. And the reactions and tree hits and rolls and curls and all that stuff, solid right now. And it's only going to get better. I highly suggest, if you haven't done the beta, go on, look up Disc Golf Master or Masters, I think, and play it.
Okay.
Get that access and go check it out, because with the it reminds me of the PGA console game, Tiger Woods.
Okay.
With the controls and everything like that, it's a pull back and throw type of a thing.
Gotcha.
Again, with my computer, it lagged, so I had to play with it a little bit to try to figure it out. But Justin, I highly suggest you, because you've got the computer to do it and get full effect out of it.
Are they planning on doing any kind of mobile thing, or is this just PC only right now?
So right now, I think it's PC. I think they're planning on trying. I think this is something that they want to do console.
Oh, okay.
But go to Steam. Look up Disc Golf Masters.
I will check it out.
Yeah,
I will check it out for sure. I've played every disc golf game they have. Even that Wii one, that Wii Sports one.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
I love the Wii Sports one.
Heck yeah.
I've played that quite a bit. It's the only reason I owned a Wii.
Yeah, my son loves the Wii, and we still rock that thing. It's one of the best. Fight me. It's one of the best consoles out there still.
Rock Band.
Oh yeah, I have the whole thing
Rock
too.
Band and Guitar Hero were awesome on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Amazing microphone, everything. Just get silly.
Well, yeah, Justin, you need to try that. And can you
absolutely
too?
Will do. We should do. One thing that
honestly,
you
I
should
just totally forgot about it.
Sorry, we have a little bit of a delay. One thing that you should all check out is the Prodigy Discs unboxing video by this really cool channel called The Disc Golf Show.
Oh, okay.
Basically, we have the link down in the show notes. Check it out. It's on our channel. And Nick does a good review of Prodigy Discs and their current kind of lineup that they have, and answers the question, how are the molds? Do they still have the flashing problem? I don't know. Check it out down below, and you'll find out the answer. And I think that pretty much brings us to, the end of the show. Keep the applause going. You didn't have to stop. If you're in the market for maybe a disc golf bag, let's say you need to pick up yourself a new bag-a-rooney, as they say in the they don't say that. Use the code DiscGolfShow to get yourself 15% off your entire purchase at a certain little place called Upper Park Disc Golf, and that's a pretty good deal. You should check it out. Another good deal is DiscGolfDealsUSA.com. It's in the name /Disc Golf Show. Check out the link down below. Save 10% off your purchase there, because it's a partial sponsor of the show. And who doesn't want to support the Disc Golf Show, right? Fun 09 Sports does. They have 2 locations, one in Orangeville, one in Rockland. Support local. That's that's kind of the deal, right? Support them if you're out here, because they're amazing, and we appreciate their support. If you want to get a hold of us, you want to send some hate mail, nick@discgolfshow.com. But if it's anything else, the show at discgolfshow.com is one of the great ways that you can get a hold of us and send us your stuff, your questions, your feedback for the show, how much you like the comparison between Justin and Ken's beard. Anything you want, you can send it there, and I promise we'll read it. Subscribe to the show. Click on that button down below, on that little notification bell, if you will, on YouTube's if you're there, or just subscribe to the show if you're listening audio only. It's fine. We have that on YouTube as well. Click the like button as you do. Remember, in disc golf as in life, aim high, let it fly. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.